Wow, okay, look at that. I got a little swamp thing going on there. It's actually just where my gray water, my drain line comes out. But it's not all bad, right? I got my own little personal swamp right there. You know, I actually did a video last night, but I'm going to try to do this whole video without using the keywords, the trigger words that trigger the algorithm. I did a video this last night, but I was in my underwear. And I'm like, no, no one wants to see that. All right, well, okay, Sandra. But anyways, I am thinking we got war, we got the government imprisoning, the police murdering, people's speech being silenced by the government, even more so perhaps by the algorithms. Now, in 1984, stop and think about this. In 1984, it was fascism and control of your speech, of what you did, of where you went. But there was like cameras monitoring you and your TV, and there was people behind those. You had to have human energy behind it. It's actually worse what we're coming into now because the algorithms are silencing us. We're being silenced automatically by the networks that are supposed to allow us to communicate. If we don't speak with the words and fit the algorithms that they tell us, so we actually have to avoid our speech. And that's why today I'm not using any of the algorithm words, even though I could probably get away with it. So while you have war and while you have people being imprisoned, like Schaefer, people being executed, people like Jeff Winehouse, people like Leonard Peltier, the system and the corruption and the abuse keeps on going. But the ability to speak out becomes more and more limited by what the corporations who work with those and are part of those doing the abusing, they create the algorithms to 1984, or maybe it's to 2080 for us. And you look at all these things and you have people's countries being invaded. But ironically, and this is what really throws me about people being invaded, don't get me wrong, I support anyone whose homes are being invaded by these other thug politicians defending themselves. I don't necessarily support their politicians. Don't you think it's weird that the same media that united on this illness that we've been dealing with for the past few years, not going to say the keyword, not going to say the algorithm, that united on that unite against our civil rights, that support our government, that it invades and bombs and do I need to say Yemen and places like that? There's so many. The list goes on from the USA. And that support that government, but suddenly they're all united against this war of these people over here on the other side of the world. Not that I'm not with those people defending themselves, but this media, why is this media all united? They're all united for the one politician and against the other, like clockwork, like a certain illness. And just as all this is happening, the inflation's going through the roof, all this crazy stuff is happening, cost of living is going up and the chance of living is going down. As this is happening, what do they throw to distract us? Because they have this going for a few weeks and then one guy, another guy, famous guys, right? I'm not even going to say the word. How do I spell that in the title without saying it? One guy, another guy. And that's what all the world's talking about, making memes. I've been trying not even to comment on those. I get memes, right? I can appreciate that. Because one guy, another guy, which happens every day at bars all across the world, and no one gives a rat's behind, but suddenly it's used to, again, what? Divide. One side says, oh, the guy that was defending his woman. The other guy says the guy that has no self-control, and it was all just stupid. And the other third side says, well, it was all just a setup, which is entirely possible because guess what? The same media that's promoting that story is the same media that united on the illness. It's the same media that's united on which politician is the hero in the current war, even though they don't bother to speak out when our politicians are murdering and robbing. I don't want this to come across like I'm not supporting the people defending their homes, because I am. What I'm questioning is the narratives and the politicians. Why is it that even though we're all talking about what's going on with the war, you can barely actually find out what's really going on despite all of it. Because guess what? The algorithms are controlling us. And we're coming into this era of the AI algorithm that is controlled by the corporation, by the tyrant, by the fascist. So we thought we had a way to beat the fascism because now we had a way to communicate like this right here, like we've never been able to in history. We can speak. And yet here we are. So what next? How do we beat the algorithm?